In the revenge thriller drama The Glory, a young woman sets off on a long term plan to get revenge on bullies who tormented her during their high school years. In this video, we'll look at how the series creates compelling characters and discuss one of the bullies, named Choi Haejong. Per usual, there will be spoilers for the story of The Glory, so I recommend checking out the series before proceeding further. We're looking at the first 8 episodes of how Haejong is portrayed as a character in this video. So Haejong is one of the bullies led by Park Yeonjin, who harass the lead protagonist Moon Dong-un. After Dong-un drops out of high school, Haejong and the other bullies grow up into their adult lives and continue to interact. Haejong becomes a flight attendant, which is one of her goals, but her occupation is seen as less prestigious than those of her other friends. Among the main cast, Haejong might be the loneliest of them all. After all, who can she trust? Haejong has a precarious standing among her friends, the others including Yeonjin, Sara, and Jaejun openly mock her, often putting in her place. They don't consider Haejong to be on their level. They see her as of a lower economic and social status. So Haejong constantly experiences feeling inferior to them, and she's compulsively driven to prove her worth or to overcompensate when she compares herself to her friends. In many ways, Haejong is in her own emotional prison, driven by her insecurities. In several scenes, we also see that Haejong is cruel to others around her. She perpetuates the bullying that she receives from Yeonjin and Sara and unleashes it on store clerks and other flight attendants who she bosses around. It's possible to read Haejong's bullying of other women as a way for her to reassert her sense of self after suffering humiliation from her friends. She also tries to distinguish herself from Myung-oh, who is the other male in the friend group. When they're adults, Haejong makes it clear in several conversations with Myung-oh that they are not the same, even though the other friends look down on both of them. Myung-oh makes several lecherous comments toward her, but Haejong doesn't entertain them at all. If we dig deeper into her character, we can ask, what is Haejong's series objective? What is the core need that drives her thoughts and actions? I think Haejong wants to find validation for her self-worth, but she's looking for it in the wrong place by seeking that affirmation from Yeonjin, Sara, and Jaejun. Her choice to seek this out from her friends is also what keeps her imprisoned in a vicious cycle of emotional abuse. She is in awe of her wealthier, more privileged friends, but she has a love-hate relationship with them. She's made herself vulnerable to wanting their respect, but at the same time, she despises them for humiliating her. So action verbs for her acting approach in her scenes include to please, appeal, commiserate, and grovel. While she was included in their friend group during their teenage years, Haejong was always insecure about her self-worth, and Yeonjin and Sara take advantage of this weakness. They control Haejong by making it clear she's not as special as they are because she doesn't have as much money as them, and they order her around to do errands. This dynamic is also mirrored in how Jaejun bosses Myung-oh around. There's a scene where Haejong takes an expensive dress that belongs to Sara and wears it to a meeting with Yeonjin and Sara. Haejong gets humiliated by Sara, who tells her that she stretches out the dress, physically shaming her body. According to Sara, if it wasn't for Dong-un, Haejong would have been the one they would have bullied in high school. When Yeonjin and Sara leave, there's a beat where Haejong wipes away her tears and then takes selfies in her dress, projecting a fake image on her social media, thanking her friends for the dress. This is one of the most revealing scenes into Haejong's character, emphasizing her obsession with image. Haejong also gets engaged to a wealthy man and she quits her flight attendant job. There's a scene where she and her fiancé review engagement rings, and Haejong is delighted when she realizes that her ring will be bigger than Yeonjin's ring. In that one story beat, we can see a little more into Haejong's mind, understanding her desire to assert her value by beating her peers through these outward symbols of status. To Haejong, the bigger ring gives her an edge over Yeonjin, and this feeds her ego. Another way to look at Haejong's character is to see what scares her the most, i.e., what is her greatest fear. This might be her fear of becoming destitute and poor, losing all opportunities for a glamorous upper-class life. She assigns personal value to the external trappings of wealth and success, so to lose these symbols would be devastating to her. We can see this in a later scene when Dong-un interrupts a meeting between Haejong and her fiancé's mother. Haejong breaks away from the mother to approach Dong-un and they have a private conversation. Haejong suddenly begs Dong-un for mercy and asks that Dong-un spare her from any plans for revenge. Haejong fears that she will have no life and no financial support if Dong-un plans to ruin her upcoming wedding. Dong-un reveals that she hasn't even started on her plans for Haejong yet, and she uses this to rope Haejong into assisting her. This begging scene really reveals how fragile Haejang sees her situation. She's hanging on by a thread when she gets on her knees in front of Dong-un. While it remains to be seen how Haejang navigates the remaining episodes of The Glory, she is a compelling character to watch in the first 8 episodes of the series. She's a mirror character to Dong-un in that she is also bullied, but has chosen to stay stuck inside a vicious cycle. And because of that choice, Haejang is a character who is both very vulnerable while also capable of being extremely cruel at the same time.